Hello and welcome to the Contest of Speed EU3 race here on Azerbaijan streets of city of Baku, 6 kilometers length track. And before we jump into the quality session, let's check out the driver standings. Racer is leading the pack with 90 points. On P2 is Almanac with 84. Behind him is Griffin 97, 38 points. P4 is Milos with 33, same amount points as Goran and Andre behind them. 1 point behind them is Dan Robo. Claire is on P8 with same amount points. Stelzio with 30 points behind them. Between them, Robster with 31, Wisey Boy with 29, Caxel with 25, Jern with 8 points, same as Mons. My name is Luke, also known as Red Panda Pigeon Slayer, and tonight with me is Mati Robo. Good evening, Mati.
Good evening. Hello. We've reunited once again.
Yes.
EU3 on a Tuesday, and well, you'll know a lot about this tier considering the first few rounds you raced in it. So you know what these guys are like.
More or less, let's say. But before we continue our chat, let's check out the constructor standings. So the Alpha Tauri is leading the pack with 109 points. Ferrari 19 points behind them on P2. Haas with 81 points on P3. Alpine on P4 with 78 points. Alfa Romeo with 69 points on P5. P6 is Williams with 63. Mercedes is 50 points. McLaren with 31 points. Red Bull with 20. And Aston Martin with 18 points. So heading to the track, it looks like it's a bit of overcast, or it's just my imagination. Uh, First
It's
driver on.
more dusk setting, I think. That's when the realistic is. I had to quickly look through the settings because it decided to change it and have safety cars off, which would be quite convenient for Baku, considering the carnage that we saw last night in EU4.
Yeah, and speaking of Baku, I have a little bit of flashbacks from, I believe, all our cheers in Singapore.
Yes, that was. We gloss over Singapore very quickly. It is round.
It's round
7.
7, yeah, I do believe.
We're nearly halfway there. Would you believe it? This time next week, we'll be saying, right, this is the 8th round. We're halfway through, and you've done half the races, which is pretty crazy. 2 months of racing has gone by very, very, very quick.
Time is running crazy, but let's speak a bit about the track itself. It's a really long, fast track with technical sections. Oh, and Andre and Robstar are retiring from the session. I was actually following Andre, and Andre crashed himself in turn 1. Didn't notice what happened to Robstar, but he was mentioning something that his internet is tricky last days, and he might be lagging a bit, so maybe that was the issue. So let's do a flying lap with Dan Robert, who is first one to set a benchmark, considering that Andre is out of the session already.
Well, he's not setting a flying lap. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yes.
ERS is not being used. He's doing his usual way of just warming up. Mons is on the lap. He'll be the Mons and Modiers and Goran are the first few people on a lap. Goran is the furthest one along a lap. Around Singapore.
Yeah, and Mons is quite fast catching up the Mercedes in front of him. So let's hope that Mercedes, I do believe it's Goran in front of him, will be far enough to not impede the lap. But considering that Dan wasn't using his battery, Mons was only half a second slower in Sector 1, so that's not that big difference. Watching that we have one pretty long straight in Sector 1, and obviously a couple of that 90 degrees corners around. Done with 43.2. Watching that he wasn't using battery through whole first sector is really decent lap.
Just looking up to see what EU4 pole time was yesterday.
We'll go around with 42.1, so over 1 second faster than Dan. And what will Mans do? 42.4, that's P2 for the Aston Martin driver. Milos with 42.4, just 11 milliseconds slower than Mons.
Oh, it says EU4 on the title, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed that. So as a couple of people on the chat, Racer meanwhile with new fastest lap, but it doesn't take long because Stelzio improved by almost 1 second comparing to Lewis. This is sector 2 going through sector 2. Caxel with P2 41.6. I have to say, a really unfortunate quali session for Andrei, who I do believe was on P2 last week at Spa. A really good result for Haas driver.
So the pole time from yesterday has already been matched, and we're on our first runs. So far, EU3 are edged it out by 0.06 of a second, and there's a bit of the same gap really. Back to second was about 4 tenths, and it currently is at the moment. So we have an early runaway pole sitter, but I will be expecting a few more guys to take risks towards the end of the session.
Meanwhile, Almanac sets the P4 with 41.925, Claire with 150.4, so something had to happen during a lap of Williams driver. Meanwhile, Sid currently on P9 with 42.8. Milos, I do believe. Milos is continuing. No, he jumped into the pit lane. Isaac Hitmax, Destructo, and the Lanky One. And now the boys to set the laps. Lanky One will be the first one of this pack. It's going to the line with that super long, basically straight, over 2 kilometers, 42.6. That's P9 for Ferrari driver. And is it Destructo to start this first from this pack? No, I do believe it will be Itmax. Yes, it will be Itmax. It is on that long semi-straight, let's say. Caxel with connection issues, I do believe.
As long as it doesn't completely combust like it did last week, that would be fantastic. But I have a feeling this is going to be an issue.
Sadly, meanwhile, Itmax going through turn 2 to second heavy braking zone on the track, slowing down from over 300 kilometers per hour to about 80, if I'm not mistaken. Isaac is following him pretty close. That might affect his lap on this 90 degrees turns.
You will get a lovely toe low through sector 3 if he stays close enough.
Yes, indeed. Game showed us that Itmax set the fastest sector 1, but it was slower
Oh,
comparing to and
Isaac's.
Lanky one. No, it's Lanky one who crushed himself
He has,
in
and Isaac's
sector
hit the
3.
wall as well, so he's ruined his lap. Two incidents at the same time. There's a Haas gone off down at turn 1. That'll be Moliez.
And that will be Milos. But he is on the outlap. Meanwhile, the game is suggesting us that Yitmek set a fastest sector 2. It looks like Isaac behind him lost a bit of distance, so he had to make a mistake.
He's had a mistake. He's had an accident. He's got no front wing. Went deep before the castle section as we go past Lanky's wheel that we see just floating on the inside
And
of the track.
Yitmek's crossing the line with P9 42.449 for McLaren driver. I do believe that times is faster comparing to last game editions, at least 22, because it's about 2-3 seconds faster. Goran, I do believe Goran might be on the... No, Goran is on the in lap. So I do believe it's time to switch to Dan Robbo again. Going nicely through that downhill right-hander. It's easy to lock up over there and hit that outside wall on the exit. But he managed to avoid this.
Before.
Oh, many times, I do believe. Really good run through the chicane and heading to the line.
Here we go then. This is a genuine run for pole. Unlike Dan for this, 1:31.3.
Just 11 tenths of the second. 11 hundredths of the second, apologies. To Stelzio, so that's P2 for Alfa Romeo driver. Still pretty good lap, considering what his opponents were able to do. A little bit of traffic caused by Reekmax at the start of the straight, and the first one is it Destructo. Yes, Destructo is first one in this pack, but Milos started his lap way before him. I have to say that at this point of the season, Haas is a positive surprise for me. They are P3 in constructor standings. Managed to take all 3 podium spots until now. So last week we had Andre P2. Don't remember honestly when they scored P3 and P1, but I'm pretty sure it was Milos who did this.
Milos in Austria, round 3. Yeah, Andre last week, and I don't have round 1 or 2, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah, but they're good. They are going pretty good, and honestly, I have to say that I was always cheering up to them, mostly because they are both from the same country as I do. So 2 poles. One was a bit unlucky tonight.
He's at the back to avoid the carnage, though, I feel. Into turn 1 and 2, we've seen many multi-car accidents at the start around this track in this league over the many seasons that is now done. Lewis is currently coming through sector 2.
Milos is heading to the pit lane, so he is not improving.
No, Lewis is just lost a sector in sector 2. He was half a second up. He's now
Distract on P11. Lewis half a second down after sector 2, so
Griffin's making a run for pole. He's 6.5 attempts up, so this is going to put him really close to the front row.
And it's last meters of the lap for the Alpine driver, and he crossing the line. It is provisional pole position. just a bit less than 500ths of the second over Stelzio. So it is pretty good time. Griffin should be happy about this.
He's held it together. Destructo's on a lap, but he's got no ERS, so this could be a bit tricky.
No, Destructo just finished his lap. He's at 42.4. That gives him P11.
That's why he's set pretty much the identical sector. I've just seen what the time is. He's rushing round as quick as he can to get back to the pits.
This was awkward because I saw Milos going through turn 3 on the minimap, and then suddenly he came back to exit of the pit lane.
Milos has just gone purple, sector 2. So he'll lose time anyway, even though he's coming back to the pits.
I mean,
no
in this and previous game, I was using higher downforce comparing to rest of the grid mostly, similar as in Vegas, because you can gain a lot in sector 2. And if you...
Oh! Sorry to cut you off. That's exciting. There's rain in the race, apparently.
Oh my god, thank you Caxel for that information.
Yeah!
This will be a freaking carnage.
Damp, moist, whatever you want to use. There is going to be some precipitation at some point. We don't know when. It could be from the entirety of the race, but we'll find out.
Yeah, but Lanky suggested it will be damp, so I hope that drivers won't be damp because of that. It's easy to make a mistake on wet streets of Baku. And plenty of drivers now leaving the pit lane once again. Watching the state, it might affect a bit of for Milos if the rest of the grid will decide to go now, but time is too short, so Milos should have a safe lap. Meanwhile, one of the McLarens, yeah, it was Eatmax, who made a mistake on the entry to the castle section. Lucky for him, he was on the outlap, because otherwise he would be unable to improve himself. Milos just started his lap. Right behind him is Celsius.
Interestingly, I've just seen, I'm on board with Ty. Ty's doing another push lap. He's done an outlap and another outlap, and now he's going to start his flying lap. So he's done 2 outlaps.
And someone just left the pit lane. I do believe it was in front of Goran. It is Alpha Tauri.
Oh, big slide from Modias.
So
that's going to ruin the lap.
He's gently improving after sector 1. It's 63 milliseconds of improvement. Let's see his delta after sector 2. He's crossing through the castle section. A little bit of counter steer at the exit. Almanac is retiring from the session. He crashed himself on the exit of the chicane. Yeah, this chicane is really tricky because you're driving there close to 300 kilometers per hour, and it's if you lost. Oh, and another slide from Milos.
He's definitely overheating those tyres, overworking them. Stelcho is up slightly, so it's going to be really close. For Paul, he's half a tenth up, which is just about what he needs to put it ahead of Griffin.
Yeah, and Celsius is first one. I do believe Griffin don't have enough time to improve his lap.
No, he won't.
And what will Celsius do? It is pole position. It is pole position by 700ths of the second over.
Hold up, let's go to Alfa Romeo.
Is it Dan? Dan is improving by over 4 tenths after sector 2.
Had a slight wobble out of what I would say is the last corner for the run down to the start-finish line. So let's see how much this has affected him.
On P14. Meanwhile, Dan is crossing the line and is 140.7. Impressive job. Well, for Romeo driver, I missed someone, I do believe. Next one to cross the line will be Mans. Mans was improved himself by quarter of the second, but that's still P8. Sid on P9. Next one will be Yitmax to cross the line.
Oh, Lewis has lost time through the middle sector again. He's 5 tenths up. He's only 2 tenths up.
Yitmax is improving himself. It's P8 because Isaac
It's
right
just gone to 6.
behind him. One of the Red Bulls is crossing the line. It's Piper Tech improving himself by half a second, and it's P14.
And Lewis will go. I think stays. So it goes to 7th in the end.
So
Again, lost a lot of time in that middle sector.
Dan, Stelzio, Griffin, and Goran. That's our 2 front rows. Then Caxel, Isaac, Racer, Almanac, Yitmax, and Mans, completing top 10 in this qualifying session. Sid on P11, Milos on P12, Destructo P13, Pipetek P14, Lanky One on P15, Claire on P16, Robstar on P17 without a lap, and Andre on P18 without a lap as well. Well, we've seen what happened to Andre.
Yeah, so lost the first for Williams again. Interestingly, I had a look at tyres. Most guys used 2 sets. Monts used 3, so did Dan and so did Goran apparently. Destructo was on the mediums for his first run and then went to the softs. So, oh, look at it. Look at Stall.
Well, screen is still
Light
loading for me, but
light precipitation.
It is wet.
That looks like intermediates.
Yeah, we'll see that in short amount of time. Is Caxel suggesting dry at end, so it will be wet to dry race.
And he's got a dry setup on. Good man, being bold. So this is gonna then be the question of people's ability to judge when it's going to go and it's dry enough to use the dry tyres. Also, probably why we saw a lot of guys use either 2 or 3 sets of tyres during qualifying because of that. The fact we're going to have rain towards the end of the race using those soft tyres.
Yeah, and give me a second.
We'll have your predictions in the chat while you're on. Winners, safety cars, how many, finishes.
Hadn't you mentioned that safety car is off? But we have 5 lights, a little bit of visual bug, and away we go. It looks like good start for Dan Robo. Stelzio is close to him, but Dan managed to keep his position. Griffin is attacking Stelzio for P2. They're side by side on the run to turn
someone's going to get this
a little
wrong.
bit
Yeah, someone did get it wrong.
Oh,
carnage!
My God. Huge carnage.
Oh my goodness, everybody out. Whoa!
Everyone is getting 5 seconds penalty. Racer, Milos, Sid, and Destructo are out.
I've seen that before, that kind of incident. That is
there is full cost safety car.
Good. Griffin was the first one to go, but he went down the escape road, realising he wasn't going to get there when he was fighting for 6th, when he's fighting over 2nd.
Andre with 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flag. Isaac, Almanac, Claire, Lanky One, and Mans with 5 seconds as well. I guess that was for colliding with other drivers. But I have to shoot out for Andre because he was starting P18, and after this crazy incident on the race start, he managed himself to get up to P6. That's impressive job.
Sid has had 2 lap 1 DNFs this week. No, you're not having a restart. That's your own fault.
To be honest, Stelzio and Griffin. They were side by side. Griffin went on the brakes a bit too late. He didn't turn. He went straight ahead. Robster is retiring. He crashed himself onto that downhill left-hander.
Oh, and he's hit the
I
wall.
mentioned that turn is pretty tricky, especially with these conditions. Unfortunate for Williams driver that he crashed himself under the safety car conditions.
Wow, what under the safety cars was that?
And how many of them will dive into the pit lane? Because I do expect a lot of front wing change. Isaac, Caxel, Yitmex,
Well, it's going to
Almanac,
be everyone from
Claire,
third.
Pipetech.
It'll be everybody from third down because Stoucho and Dan didn't get caught up by it. Griffin dived down to the escape road, so the top
Yeah,
three
but
got away with it. It was four.
Look at this. Andre and Mans stayed on the track. Besides them, everyone was into the pit lane. So currently, Andre with 15 laps improving comparing to his starting positions. Actually, I'm really curious about this. Let's check the position changes. So Andre with 15 position gains, Mons and Pipatek with 6, Claire with 7, Lanky One with 4, Yitmex with 3. Dan Robos, Celsius and Caxel stayed on starting positions. Isaac lost 1. Griffin just lost position to Lanky One. Oh, he went too deep to turn 4. That's why
He's
he
hit the wall.
losing positions.
Has he got a front wing damage? He's gone deep again.
Goran with 7 position loss, Almanac with 4, and Griffin, while we're speaking, lost 10 positions.
A lot of guys not knowing where the brake button is, clearly. Even in wet conditions.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I learned something a couple of weeks ago when I was playing my team mode on this track. Really great idea is set brake bias to about 51% and not use full brake force to brake in these conditions, especially on this 90 degrees turns, because you are locking up a lot.
What's brake force? I have an L2 button that I use. That's quite.
Well, I'm using pedals, so I'm.
Oh, Isaac's retired. What's he doing? Why?
Oh, it looks like
You're behind
crashed. It looks like he crashed onto the chicane. Yes, it is.
You're under a safety car. You don't need to be going quickly. Oh, Luke, this is up there with getting 3 seconds behind the safety car. Why? Why are you guys crashing? Why?
So Andre and Mons are the only ones who stayed with penalties. And if I would be Andre on Mons' place, I would probably dive into the pit lane just for delete this 5-second penalty.
Right, so what happened? So Mons collided with Molly's, Destructo collided with Sid, Sid's collided with Destructo, Molly's. So it was those 4. That's why they got a collision warning. Then, that was just turn 1, by the way, people. Then we get over to turn 2, where Mons gets one with Yeet Mix, Almanac gets one with Lewis, Lanky gets one with Destructo, Ty gets one with Pipe Tech, Isaac gets one with Goran. Oh my goodness gracious me.
Charm of wet streets of Baku City. I mean, this race would be chaotic no matter of conditions and dry. I think it could be more or less the same.
I've got a problem now. This is how good this game is.
What kind of problem?
I've clicked on the race director and to look at what's happened in terms of the instance there. I've gone to press back, and now I can't get out of the screen where it's got the times and that in front of me and the race director, so I actually can't see my screen.
That's painful, but we have confirmation that safety car is in this lap. Oh, that's a huge problem because you are the lobby host.
Correct. So I'm gonna have to try and use the stream and not. This is great game, EA. Good job, guys.
Esports ready game. But Dan is pacing the field, weaving a lot to get a proper hit to the tires.
He'll wait for the mid-weave, which he normally does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really curious when he decides to pull off because this straight is pretty long. We were basically like 400 meters for the race, and then 3 laps of this under the safety car, and we have already 6 drivers crashed, including 2 under the safety car conditions.
Well, he's going to wait basically until he gets right down the end.
And it looks like Dan pulled out, and I have to agree to what Deathstorm said.
Oh, Socho's run deep!
So, Andre as well. Andre with front wing damage for sure. He's dropping the places. Months over 3 seconds behind Dan Robo. Dan got that comfortable lead. Rest of the field is pretty close to each other. Andre will have to. I'm pretty sure that Andre will have to pit. Piper Deck is trying to attack. Caxel is crashed out. And it's end of the race for Caxel, and it's another full cost safety car.
Cool! I can't do anything, so I can't invite people back either. Oh, hang on, I'm going to show you my screen. You can see my screen. I'm going to send a photo to you.
Oh, and... and you know what? I just realized, I mean, Glitch 10 mentioned that on Twitch chat. Miami is next race.
Oh, God.
So 2 really, let's say, fortunate tracks for the stewards. Greetings to you, Deathstorm. I'm waving to you, buddy.
Deathstorm's going to need something more than a stiff drink. He'll need something else. I'm going to send you via Discord what I'm currently able to see, which will be nothing.
Find my mobile. Here we have. So already 7 drivers out. Andre actually lost only to P4 because Caxel, who was in front of him, crashed himself out. Oh, yeah, so that's lovely.
So I can't go back off that screen either. So I'm literally sitting here I'm like everybody else at home. I'm watching the stream with you guys. I have nothing else. Unless you want another 22 laps of what Stelcho's up to, then I can tell you that because that's the driver it seems to stick with in the background.
Andre is heading to the pit lane for a new front wing. And actually this will help him a lot because will get rid of this penalty he had. So Mons stayed as only one with that 5-second penalty. And surprisingly, he's not catching up that fast to Dan. Okay, he started, as I mentioned, that he is not. At a really good position for now for Pipe Attack. How many positions he gets? Pipe Attack with 10 positions advantage. Promoted. Tyclair with 11. Lanky One with 9. Andre, considering that he is still on P11 and that he's closing the pack, it's still 7 positions gained for Haas driver. Stelcio with 8 position loss, Griffin with 6. Almanac stayed on P8. Goran with 3 position loss. So Almanac and Dan Robo are only ones who stayed on starting positions. Considering the chaos we had around until now, it's pretty impressive, I have to say.
So who's currently still on the same set of tyres? Yeah, Mons, Dan, Stelcho.
Mons, Mons and Dan, I do believe only.
And Stelcho's on the same set of
Sergio
intermediates
as
as well.
well.
Yeah, he ran wide, didn't he? He made the mistake on the
Yeah,
restart,
indeed.
hence why he's
Yes,
down in
indeed. Okay,
10th.
my mistake. Not sure why I noticed that Sergio was in the pit lane, but I was mistaken. You're right, as always.
Look, it's the only thing I can see, all right. So I have to be right on that one. If you want tyres and drivers, incidents in terms of warnings for track limits and other penalties and pit stops, I'm your man. Everything else, I can't see a thing, apart from their best fastest lap, which at the moment goes to Mons with a 2-minute 12.3, as we've not had a single racing lap yet.
Yeah, but well, the good thing is 5 safety cars is the limit, so we will have at least 10, 11 laps of racing. Always, as the song said, always look for the bright side of life.
Always look on the bright side of life. You're welcome.
Well, good that you did this, because if I would start thinking, all our viewers would run away immediately. Destructo has left the session, but
Yeah,
he was the first victim of this track.
a casualty. I like how 12th, 13th, 14th have been given DNFs, and 15th to 18th have been given nothing. You've not made it far enough around a track to be given a dump.
Yeah, I do believe you have to pass at least the whole first sector to get something.
Yeah, Sid, at least it's better than last night. You made it to the second corner. You didn't even make it to the first corner last night. I'm trying to think of positives.
Sid, if it makes
Oh! There's an Alpha Tauri that's just hit the wall. I can just saw it on my screen.
so it had to be Almanac on P8.
He hit it quite hard, so I'll be amazed if he...
No visible damage on his front wing.
He's a very lucky boy then, because he hit it very hard. It was a proper bonk into the side of it anyway.
Yeah, but in this game you can have a hole on your end plate that will affect your driving, because your front wing will be yellow, but still your wing will look like completed. I mean, what I wanted to say, Sid, if it makes you better, my shortest race was about 13 seconds to retire screen. That was on Monza, and I didn't even reach the turn 1, so I'm still beating you with that.
Sid didn't get off the grid yesterday. He got sideswiped. Yeah, it was disgusting. Well, we've got to kick him while he's down. He'll feel better afterwards. He'll be fine.
Here we are. Safety car is in the pit lane. Dan is placing the field. Let's say follow the Yeet Max, or maybe Mons. When Dan will decide to pull out, he's still weaving. And Dan is pulling away. It looks like good restart.
So he's got a jump on Mons there from what I've seen, and you've got Pipe Tech close behind. Yeet Mix into turn 1.
And they're side by side is Goran and Almanac. No, Goran didn't like one, but Goran was too far back. Griffin had to make a mistake because he lost position to Andre.
He was side by side with Andre, and I think Stelcher's actually picked up 2 places there for a price of 1.
Stelzio gained a 1 position only.
Oh, Goran down the inside of the Ferrari. That's getting a bit close. Oh, and into the wall goes the McLaren stealth
Yeah, I
show.
seen the flying parts. It's virtual safety car this time. Well, positive, it's not full one. So she dropped to P11.
I mean, Dan's gonna be fuming if it is.
Completely missing the front wing. Let's check how about Almanac's car. Oh, Garan is lucky to you, but Almanac's car looks fine, at least if we're speaking about front wing. But look at the gap of Dan again. It's over 2 seconds.
It was nearly 4. So that's
Dan,
virtual safety car when it came out.
Dan is flying compared to the rest of the field. It's virtual safety car is Dan. Goran is overtaking Lanky one.
Yeah.
Almanac is close. We see the yellow flag and
Stelcho's now hit the wall. That'll be a
crash.
safety car.
And Lanky one and Andre is out.
Not clever.
Incident between Almanac and Lanky one. Griffin was the victim, but he lost only the front wing. Almanac with 5-second penalty. Lanky one and Andre was the victims. Lanky one hits that outside wall on the exit, and Andre just hit the Lanky one directly in front of him. So really unfortunate race for Ferrari, for us boys. Alpine is still on the road. Williams is still on the road, so only Ferrari and Haas lost both drivers. But it was... We started lap 8, so we are after 7 laps. We didn't had a full racing lap, because on lap 7 we had a virtual safety car. And we are already missing the 10 drivers on the track. Suggestion to the stewards, avoid track like this onto the league racing.
No, or just learn how to drive, boys. It's not difficult.
Yeah,
From being brutally honest, it's from what I've seen, pretty piss poor. It's wet, and some of the overtaking moves I'm trying to see are, yeah, not clever. If I'm being honest, and it's my tier, so I can tell them how it is. It is nowhere near good enough.
But it's not only over here, because every league is struggling with this one. Yesterday evening, a friend asked me, can I fill up the grid? So I agreed. We had a full wet race in Spain, and I was rear-ended by the guy who was 1.5 seconds behind me, because as he tried to explain, he lagged out and couldn't brake in time.
I.e. killed you.
Griffin is struggling a lot through the castle section.
He shouldn't be. You should be going quick. It's a safety car. You don't need to be going quick. Oh my god.
He was driving really slow, even considering that was the castle section. He got a new front wing, so he shouldn't be struggling that much. Wondering what Mons is trying to do, because he still didn't box to get rid of that 5-second penalty for the race start.
What? At this rate, he doesn't need to. There won't be enough drivers by the time he finishes. The funny thing is, this is still not the least amount of drivers I've seen for a Baku finish. And it started with 20. I've seen 7. Out of 20.
I mean, that reminds me one of the IRL race when we had only 3 finishers in Monaco. Was it 96, 97?
Yeah, it is. There's 3 finishers in a Monaco race from last year, but we don't mention that because people have massive PTSD.
Yeah, I do remember that. I seen this race. I was I was over here on Cam's booth at this farewell race.
Yeah, that was.
I do believe that at least one of the drivers gets league ban because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, how was your day, Matty? Because we have a bit of time.
It's been one of those. It's been an interesting one anyway. A day of frustration, and this is not helping. This is just adding to it. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm not looking at the. Do I bother looking at the EU3 chat? Do I dare?
Well,
Oh,
since I stopped the racing couple, 2-3 days ago, I lost access to EU3 chat, so keep me updated, please. Safety car in this lap, we have confirmation. Dan is pacing the field for the third time tonight. We are about to start lap 10 in about, let's say, 20-30 seconds. Maybe a bit longer.
Well, he'll probably leave it late again, from what I can tell. Although I can't really tell anything.
Yeah, the worst thing is plenty of those people doesn't learn on own mistakes.
It's also the other thing is a lot of these guys, it isn't their first time ever either.
Yeah, plenty of them, including a couple who was somehow part of the incidents. I'm not suggesting that they were fault of incidents, and they are driving here at least by few seasons. Dan is pulling away. It looks like way better restart for Mons and Pipertech this time. Ty is close to Pipertech, but he won't be able to make a move. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a success. No incidents to turn one.
Well, we get through the next couple of callers.
And Edmax is overtaking Ty. It looks like he made a move early enough to get a clean way through turn 2. Goran is close to Ty. They're nearly side by side, but Goran is stepping back from the any action. And now Goran is attacking. That's a position gain for Mercedes driver. It looks like Ty might have lost position to Almanac in a while. And yes, he did. He lost the 2 positions within 2 turns. Or maybe it was 3. Mons and Piper are really close to each other. Dan is pulling away again. It's already over 1 second. It makes almost 1 second behind Piper Tech, but closing up right now. Ty is already over 1 second behind Almanac. Almanac is close to Goran. Heatmax and Pipertech is the closest pair of the drivers. So far, so clean. Oh, I do believe Ty hits that outside wall.
Ty's hit that hard as well.
Let's check his car. It doesn't seem to have any damage, but he is giving position to Griffin. Yeah. Yitmax is overtaking Pipertech. That's battle for P3. And Yitmax got enough speed to overtake Mons as well. That's 2 positions in 1 straight and fastest lap of the race so far. Pipertech and Mons. Pipertech is close. Overtaking Aston Martin. He got that inside line to turn 1. Goran is close to this. Boys over there. Dan Robo is already 2 seconds in front, but Edmax looks like he's in charging mode, and Mons losing position to Goran. Really good and clean move. It is closing up the gap.
He looks quicker down at this stage, but I don't think Dan's going to care too much because it's still going to be quite a big points
And
haul.
top 4 is starting to be spread a bit because it's over 1.7 between Dan and Eatmax, over 1 second between Pipertech and Eatmax. Pipertech over 1.3 ahead of Goran. Mons is pretty close to Mercedes driver.
Has Dan got damage? He's really slow.
Let's
He's
see.
just lost. Lost 7 tenths.
I mean, to be honest, I know we had 9 laps under the safety car, but still, tires are getting worn and worn, and Heatmax, I do believe, got fresher tires. Yeah, Dan is on 10 lap old, and Heatmax is on 3 lap old, so we can say that Heatmax got brand fresh tires, and Almanac, apologies for interrupting, but Almanac is overtaking Mons for P5. And Panpaytak is retiring. It's another victim of the chicane. But what I wanted to say, the fresh tires, especially if we're speaking about intermediates or wet tires, giving a huge advantage.
Almanac and Griffin. Griffin down the inside, I think, of Almanac there.
Yeah, but Almanac is keeping the position. Yitmax overtook. Dan Robomans is overtaking Griffin for P5. And Dan Robo is holding up for now. But I do believe he will start start losing the time.
Yeah, probably lose it to
Griffin and Moss really close to each other. Dan is actually not letting Yitmax to drive away.
I don't think he needs. I think he's quite happy to be where he is. I mean, Goran's closed in by 7 tenths though, this lap alone. So, interesting to see what that happens.
But excluding Mons and Griffin and Yitmax and Dan, I mean Dan is losing a lot on the straights to Yitmax. Griffin is overtaking Mons for P5. At the end of the castle section, he made a move. Oh, and the contact with the wall for the Alpine driver.
And the Aston Martin as well. That's pretty much identical lines. Tyres definitely hit the wall that time. Saw that in the background.
Yeah, and I have to say that. And Ty without a front wing. Griffin and Mons without the damage, at least without the visible ones. 8max is using that beauty split stream behind 8max, so he is still holding up. But his tires will be struggling. Griffin is actually heading to the pit lane. Let's see, will it be a front wing change? No.
Ty stayed out.
Horrible angle. And Ty stayed out without a front wing. And Mons made a mistake to turn 2. He just drives straight away.
Yeah.
Mons is losing plenty of time because of that reversing.
Oh, Tom, I can think of something funny. There's currently more finishes than I have championship points this season.
Well, I'm watching the points. No, I have more championship. I had more championship points. Oh, Itmax was really close to hit that.
Yeah, it is now, Kitty, but it's true. I think I've only got 3.
Itmax almost Leclercing himself. A tie without a front wing. That's really dangerous drive for Williams driver. And
yeah, I don't get what Ty's trying to do. Unless it stopped raining, but I can't tell.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are missing a front wing, it should be mandatory pit stop for you. because
Get the old black and orange flag out.
yeah, exactly. So I hope some of people around here in the chat will react about this. Meanwhile, Almanac losing position to Goran.
Interestingly, I was about to say Goran had Almanac had overtaken him because they're
Yes,
now 4.5 seconds behind the leading
Almanac
two, which is
over to Goran, but Goran used that split stream on the main straight, so he had a lot of distance to gain that speed over Alpha Tauri. Griffin is actually overtaking Mons.
so interestingly. Dan's has just gone personal best on that last lap, 57.1, compared to Yeatmix's 56.4. However, it's about 6/10 of a difference.
And
It should be
I
per
just
lap.
jumping on board with Itmax, and it looks like it stopped raining indeed. So I do expect that most of them will drive in for medium compound.
So was Ty maybe Ty? It's a long shot and a bit of a weird way of doing it, but maybe Ty was staying out so that he can go onto the dry tyres because he's got a gap, hasn't he? Otherwise, if he pits and then pits again, I don't know. It means
Yeah,
he's going
but
to be
still,
super quick
and
down the straight.
Ty just crashed himself out.
Oh.
It is retiring from the session.
Have we already used the safety cars? We have, by the looks of things. Therefore, we have
No,
6 drivers.
we had only 3 safety cars, so we have still possible 2 ones.
So who's going to judge the weather right here?
I mean, it's definitely still intermediate conditions, as we can see.
Because it will make and break this top 4, I think.
It looks like Dan closed up a bit to Eatmax.
Something you've probably missed it for the better this evening. You probably missed the race for the better.
Almanac and Goran are still really close to each other. They are still fighting all the time. The gap to Dan on P2 is over 5.5 seconds. Dan is holding up more or less a second behind Eatmax.
Yeah, he's just gone personal best again. So Dan's lap times are coming down. Yeatmix's lap times over the last couple of laps are a bit all over the place, really. Yeatmix has done in the last 4 laps
so
55.3.
So we can say Dan just got the rhythm of the racing.
Dan's times are going down, whereas Yeatmix's times are all over the place. He's gone 55.3, 57.7, 56.4, and then 57 flat for the last 4 laps.
So lack of consistency, but
yeah, Dan's just gone down.
And we have yellow flag in sector 1. That's Mons, who went deep to turn 3.
Front wing, I think.
No, his front wing looks fine.
He's done very well then to keep that out the wall, because where his dot was on the map, it looked pretty close.
Yes, indeed. And I do believe next lap might be the one with good time to dive into the pit lane for, I say, medium compound.
Yeah, it'd be interesting what they go with. It's 2 drivers at the front here, which we know are a bit harsher on their tyres compared to the guys around them. Goran's been pretty much matching Dan's pace all season in EU3, so they're very similar. And then Almanac's also headed for the front. Yeah, so depending when people come in, this could still be a 4-horse race.
And I'm watching the driver standings, and if they manage to finish like this, it will be a driver's lead for Almanac. He's missing only 6 points to Racer. Goran will overtake Milos, but he will lose position.
Griffin's come in, by the way, and I don't know what tyre he's got on. Hang on, I can
But
find
he
out.
will lose position too. Dan, let's check out about
Griffin's
Griffin.
Almanac's gone. Almanac is on the.
Almanac wasn't in the pit lane,
What?
but Griffin is on the mediums. Mons is
Yeah,
heading to
Griffin's
the
on
pit
the
lane
medium.
as well.
I will find that out for you when it
And
comes
that's mediums as well.
up. There you go. All on the medium tyres whilst he serves his 5-second pit stop. So then, we'll leave it to our quartet out front and when they're going to come in.
So Griffin is losing 57 seconds to Almanac. We'll see what the delta, and Almanac is overtaking Goran. That's move for podium spot. I mean, at this stage you have 50% chance to be on the podium, so
Yeah, well, we're getting flashbacks here of the US Grand Prix from
Yeatmax and
2005.
Dan are staying out.
6.
So as oh no, Almanac and Goran are diving to the pit lane. That's a surprise
Ooh.
because Griffin lost over 1.5 second to them. And it's mediums for Goran.
Switch out front, switch out front.
Medium, and Dan is retaking the lead. So both drivers behind, all drivers behind them are on medium compound. So those two are only ones on the intermediate compounds at this time. But we can see pretty much of spray going from the tires, so I do believe it's a bit too risky at this point to dive in for medium compounds. So I say Dan and Yeatmax made the better call.
They're still gapping Almanac at the moment.
Let's wait a bit for the tires getting up to temperature. But it looks like on the straight lines, Almanac is catching up a bit.
I think that's also
and
where...
John made a mistake! Front wing is missing for Alfa Romeo driver.
Now he hasn't got a choice. Now he has definitely got to come in.
Yes, indeed. And what will Yeatmax do?
Well, this will give him pretty much a free stop, I would think.
Yeah, I do believe so. And Dan will lost position to Almanac and to Goran. Yeatmax is diving to the pit lane. Dan will, for sure, he will dive in.
I was just about to say, don't forget Dan's on the older tyres out of everybody out there.
And unable to correct EA servers. So we've been kicked out.
Monsters left the session, you've left the session.
No, it's a connection to EA servers.
Yeah, and I can't invite you back in.
Yes,
because
well...
I'm stuck on this screen.
To be honest, I'm offline. I'm right now offline. I'm not connected to the EA servers. It's another week in a row. Like, okay. In Singapore, it was on me. I just rage quitted. At Monza, game lagged for me and crashed out everything. In Belgium, we had a restart because of some connection issue.
Mm-hmm.
And now, well, unable to connect EA servers.
This is really, really helpful.
Lanky One is mentioning that he is still in the lobby. And all of them still racing. Okay, Lanky, yeah, but you can't invite me. Just try to... Maybe that will help. No, it's not Steam servers, Han. I do
Well,
believe
this
it's EA servers, not the Steam, because yes, I'm logged into the Steam, but I'm not logged into EA.
it's a Steam problem. Anybody that's on, I can't invite them back either. So this is gonna go horribly wrong.
Okay, am I able to connect to the servers? That's the question. Mati is in the lobby, but he gets stuck on the race director.
I'm stuck. Lanky, you can. That's my screen. I've just put it in the EU3 chat. You see it.
No,
That's the
no.
screen I've been stuck on.
Okay, I said coffee said it looks like Steam. Send the link to SteamStats. I'm connected to the Steam. I'm online on the Steam, but I'm unable to connect with EA servers. I checked the app for EA, and I'm logged out there as well. Wait, okay, I know, I know what is the point. So North America is switching to the summertime 2 weeks before Europe. And if I'm correct, there is a Steam maintenance at the midnight of European time, Central European
Hmm.
time, on Tuesdays. And technically, because they switched the time to summertime 2 weeks ago, it is now. It is the time right now. 11
Brilliant.
11 p.m. of Central European time.
Um,
It should be the last week with that issue. Next week we should be fine, I do believe. No, in next after the next one, we will switch to the summertime.
hey, do you know what the funny thing is? I don't even know what lap they're on either. I've got nothing.
Uh,
Oh, this game's
it was about
terrible.
lap 20, I do believe.
Uh,
It was about lap 20.
I don't want to leave the session because it's gonna crash the whole thing will go then.
Let me try. Oh no no no. Uh, I will try. No, obviously I can't reverse stream back to check it out.
Thanks,
No.
Lanky's they're on lap 20. Cool. I'm gonna. Oh, it's gonna break it. It's so gonna break it. It's so gonna break it. But I may have to do it.
Uh, I'm still unable to connect, or maybe I am. No, still nothing.
Okay, I'm I'm going to back out from the lobby because I've been sent an invite. I'm going to do it when they're down the straight because that's as even as I can do it. I'm not going to do it through a corner because that'd be hilarious.
And I will try to uh, launch the game
Who's
once
that
again.
out the way? There's a move. I've got a move. Go right past Yeet Mix. That's a
Okay,
genuine move because they're all in the same session
I'm,
because they're all PSN users.
I'm reopening the game.
Right, they're down the straight. I can't. No, I can't even back
Please,
out.
please connect me, please. Be nice, potatoes.
Griffin's back. Griffin's back in, which is good. I think Stelcho's done some invite. We've got a McLaren and an Alfa Romeo going side by side. It's Yeetmix and Dan through turn 3. I'm trying to see this through a screen that you have no idea what I'm seeing through. Only the 3 guys have seen the screen. I'm trying to see what's going on. McLaren down the inside into the Mercedes. The crash. Goran's out. I don't know
There,
where Dan is. Dan's
there's
through. He's past the McLaren.
Okay, I'll be right back in 30 seconds. Let me restart my Steam. Maybe this will help. Apologies for that.
Possibly 5 drivers left, I think. If Mods is still pointing a straight line, the Alfa Romeo's got Doe front wing damage. Emix looks like he's limping back. Almanac's still in the lead. I will double check to see where we are. Yeah, Almanac is still in the lead. Then it's Dan, Yeatmix, Griffin. Goran is out, so Monts will then take that position once he gets past him on track.
Okay, can you invite Mons back to the session? I'm relaunching the game once again.
No, I can't. I can't do anything. I have to leave. I have to close down the game. I'm scared. I will do it in a second.
I'm loading in, and let's see what the game will say to me this time.
So it's Almanac. Dan's done a 51.3 fastest lap, which is 2 seconds quicker than anybody else. Monster's done a 52.9.
Almanac is also screaming for the invitation.
I know! Right, let's do it! I'm going to close down the game. It's going to go horribly wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay, and I need an invitation too.
This could break the whole thing. It's like a podcast. This happened last week. Please let the invite from Stelcho work. I know! I had to!
And 4 drivers left. As Lanky One just texted on the Twitch chat.
Come on! This is terrible. The fact there's 36 people still, like...
Yes, I know, Kepsi, you can't see yet, but we are still out of the session for now. I just
please, for the love of God.
reconnected to the servers, so just waiting for the invitation from someone.
Griffin's out, by the looks of things. I don't know whether that's out because he's tried to rejoin. Almanac's got an invite. Who else needs one?
Mons, Almanac, and myself.
Mons, Red Panda, go.
Okay, accept.
5.2 seconds is the gap between. We've got 4 to go. Almanac's joined. Red Panda's back. Mons is here as well. We've got 4 left. Here we go. What a weird race.
We are on the loading screen right now.
So Almanac leads by Dan. Gap is 4.6 seconds. Almanac looks like he's back in the car. Luckily, the AI at this tier is still set up high enough, so he's not losing that much of a gap.
And
he's back because he's
and I'm
burning.
back. And I'm back. Almanac is 3.1 second in front of him, and he crashed out.
He's crashed out. He's in the wall. Dan takes the lead.
Dan retakes the lead. Heatmax is behind him, Mons far behind them. Heatmax is 13 seconds behind. Oh, it's 9 actually.
This is shades of EU2 Monaco from last season.
And
Mons left the session.
Mons just started the lap, so he is pretty far behind. But that's it, boys. Just finish the race and you will get a podium anyway. Griffin has left the session. Dan with that comfortable advantage on Heatmax. I wanted to say I will jump into race director and see what what happened, but no, I'm not gonna risk it.
What a terrible, terrible, terrible.
So Mans is 51.5 seconds behind Heatmax. They have started lap 24 of 26, so we have 3 laps to go. Dan is increasing the gap to Heatmax behind him. It looks like comfortable lead for the Alfa Romeo driver.
Oh, well, this is just...
Now I'm wondering what happened to Heatmax, because Heatmax
he had an incident with Goran. That's when they were all coming back through. So it was him, Dan, and Goran all together, whilst we were shouting and screaming at EA to fix their game because they're useless. And I mean, Dan's literally just feathering it through the corners at this stage. Oh, Yemix has lost it!
Oh no!
Rear locked. The rear end's locked.
Yeah, but let's see. It looks like his front wing is fine. Besides, Mans is far enough to provide a free stop to Heatmax. Actually, at this point, Heatmax could easily go for the fastest lap of the race on fresh soft compound. So is Dan. Wondering if one of them will try to do this. Dan, definitely not. Is going to start lap 25 of 26.
So all the guys that have now completed, they had to complete 23 laps to score points, so they should be pretty good. I'll tell you what,
Heatmax is
Luke, this is
carrying
going
on.
to be an interesting debrief when eventually... Oh, Yemix nearly trying to put it in the wall again. It's going to be an interesting debrief when I go and speak to my brother in a little bit and see what on earth has happened. But this has been entertaining for one way or the other. Hoping EU3 will have a straightforward race at some point, either with not as many crashes and not as many technical difficulties. But hey, it's nice to see the screen. I can actually see drivers go around a track, which
Yeah, I mean,
I've not been able to do.
it's hard to choose who to watch because they are pretty splitted. Like it's over 18 seconds gap between Dan and Heatmax, and
That's
even way more between Mons and Heatmax. It's over 50 seconds.
Well, Yemix has gone fast, personal best sector 1 with half a second.
Yeah, but
I would say
Heatmax's
that-
best lap was, according to the
Having
game,
said-
4 seconds slower comparing to Dan.
I was going to say, having said that, Dan's just gone. So the track is definitely now drying out to pretty much bone dry. Dan's
And yellow
now
flags,
trying
it's
to-
Mons!
Oh,
It's Mons who made a mistake!
It's not. It's still pointing in the right direction though. So Dan's going to go fastest lap.
Dan with
47
47.03. And what will be Heatmax's respond? Dan just started the last lap of the race.
Yeetmix is going to do a. This could be the fastest lap. No,
No,
it's
Heatmax
not.
is-
He's run out of
Heatmax-
ERS.
It's out of battery.
I mean, Mons could go for fastest lap off the last lap.
Well, watching mistakes he made, I do believe his tires might be cooked.
Well, I'll eventually work this out and get to the bottom of this.
And now,
Absolutely.
leader and the last podium spot
they're
sitter are on the same sector.
I'm not saying anything yet. We've seen enough tonight.
Yes,
I don't
indeed.
really want to see much more. He's not got many corners to go. Neither is Yeetmix. They've probably got one little difficult sector each. Probably 1 or 2 corners. Well,
So Mons is going to start the last lap of the race. Meanwhile,
Oh.
Dan is heading to the last
Oh,
sector
Yeetmix
of the
nearly
race.
put it in the wall!
And how
Dan,
it looks like Yidmex's front wing is fine. Dan avoids a mistake through the chicane, so is going to take a checkered flag to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
he stayed out of instance, even though he got one of himself, and he
And it's Neil
does well. He
fastest
takes the win.
lap.
Yimix is Tokyo drifting round the last corner. Mons just doesn't like
Mons
turn 3.
just made another mistake in the same place. Yidmex is going to the pit lane entry, closing into the pit lane entry and going to take a checkered flag. A second is weaving, Tokyo drifting, and AI took the control on his car, and we are waiting for Mons.
Well, what I can say for certain is we'll have to sort it out after the guys went on the mediums. But hey,
So a small suggestion, because in Europe we are changing the time for the summer one, I believe on the last week of the March.
yes, it is going to be.
So suggestion. Uh, let's start the next round of EU3 at least 30 minutes, if not 1 hour before the usual time. Oh, and Mons is drifting through last corner in similar way as Leadmax. Just hit too much of that inside curb.
It's still got 100% battery. It doesn't even want to use it. There we go. Burn it! Burn it all!
I won't believe it will be enough for fastest lap, because he made a mistake on turn 3.
Mistake. But it doesn't matter.
But he took the checkered flag as last podium sitter and the last driver who managed to complete the race.
Well, look,
and he gets a driver of the day
by
the game. Yeah, I do believe it's because of plenty of position gains. But I do believe, at least after what I've seen during this race, Dan deserved that driver of the day a lot. So Dan started P1, finished P1. Yitmax started P9, finished P2 after 3 stops. Mons starting on P10, finishing on P3. Rest of the grid: Almanac, Griffin, Goran, Tai, Pipotek, Andre, Lanky One, Stelcio, Caxel, Isaac, Robstar, Racer, Milos, Sid, and Destructo didn't manage to finish this race. Actually, now is the time when I can do this. Incidents.
Can't wait to see the race director.
That's actually not that much. Most of this is DNF, DNF, DNF.
I'm pretty much sure I'm going to say on record it is the craziest race that I've had to commentate on.
Let's quickly check out the pit stops. Plenty of stops with front wing change.
I will ask them if they want to do it, but I can understand why not.
Okay, so Matti, question for you, because I'm considering you as a lead comes tonight. Are we making the interviews?
Well, I know Dan probably won't want to do it. I don't know once. I'll ask them.
Ask Mons and Dietmax. I mean, I do believe that Dietmax was also in previous races, if I'm not mistaken. Well, PW Jones, I not, I can't fully agree with you about this.
It was entertaining, but not for the right reasons.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I mean, we could speak to Yeetmix. Yeah, Dan said, yeah, why not? Let's have a chat. Let's
Okay,
have
okay.
let's say hello to these
So
people.
let's invite those boys. Uh, so it's Mons,
Yeah.
it's Yitmax, and
Mhm.
it's Dan Robbo. Okay, invitations were sent, so we are just waiting for our heroes to join us.
I tell you what, they are heroes in our
Yeah,
eyes.
yes, they are heroes. They managed to complete this race in more or less one piece. So that's pretty impressive, especially after what have I seen from lap one to lap more or less 18, when we had that connection issue incident. Yes, Spotty,
Alright,
hey,
am
Mhm.
I the only one doing it, or?
No, Dan's coming. Dan's coming as well.
Right, I'll wait my turn then. I'll wait my turn.
yeah,
No, that's all right. You could go first. It's fine.
I guess I could. What if you?
but before we start, I need to say what Potty said on stream chat. Drive to Survive Coast Edition.
It
Yes,
was
he
Drive
was.
to Survive. It really was.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I
that.
went. If I get reported for AI, my defense is it said everybody's connected, so I thought I was fine. It said literally everybody's connected. It said Dan.
yes,
It said Dan, Mons, literally everybody. Then I
yes, I
come out of
was.
AI and I just see him literally there behind me. I was like, so I've just been lied to then. So
I was disconnected as well, and we had like 4 or 5 laps
yeah.
blind screen. So we have all of them. Welcome,
Yeah, they're all
heroes.
joined.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're all here.
Yes,
they are all
I
here.
have to call you heroes because you survived this. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad you did
Is it
this.
where? Okay.
When I saw Almanac DNF, I literally screamed like a little girl after seeing a pink birthday cake at
Okay.
her
Is
birthday.
the mic working? Just
Yes,
checking.
Mons, it's
Yeah,
working.
everybody's there. Look at them. They're all here. It's
Look at
great.
them. Okay, so
Right,
let's
Dan
start
Robbo
with
first.
Three
let's
musketeers.
It's three.
let's start with Mons, who finished on last podium spot and last on the race, but it's still P3 for you. Good results for you. I can imagine that you can be really happy about this.
I
Uh,
mean, yeah, continue.
but I have to say, what was your issue with turn three?
Turn three. What happened there? Oh, that
Uh,
was it? Oh yeah. I had like no zero pace on the inters in the rain. Like I was when I saw people started like DNFing and stuff. I was just like, let's just get it to the end, and like I wasn't even trying to to move forward or anything. Just trying to keep it on track. As you can see, it was not the easiest for me, but yeah, I can complain for the result.
yeah, but we've seen on the last part of the race. I mean, we've seen only 4 laps, 4 last laps of the race, and I do believe you cast the yellow flag like 3 or 4 times on turn three. So that was why I'm asking what was your issue with that turn.
It doesn't like me, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah. But
um,
yeah, in the end, I
um,
was just trying to get to the end, and not nothing.
yeah, I mean it's fair point when there was only I had disconnected when there was 6 drivers left and someone on chat, it was Lanky I do believe, was updating us. It's 5 left. Oh, it's 4 left. We're down to 3. Uh, so
Yeah.
yes, we were just really stressful to get back to the lobby because of that connection issue. It's the Steam maintenance I figured out because North America switching to the summertime 3 weeks before Europe, and usually on Tuesdays at midnight of Central European time there was a Steam maintenance, and watching that they are in summertime, we are still in wintertime, so it happened 1 hour earlier than usual. That was the issue, I do believe. Okay, Mati, ask any questions you want to, Mans.
Well, all I'm going to say is he's gone from having 8 points in the championship to he's now going to have 23. So massive jump up.
Yeah,
Massive congratulations and well done for surviving, my friend. There was a tough race.
yeah, there's like
watch
a
and
lot of DNFs in my season so far. This one, I was like, let's get it to the end, as I said, and yeah, can't complain.
well done. We'll make it quick. We'll move on to P2, I think.
Yes,
Luke with
it was Yitmax, and
Yep.
Yitmax. Finally, some points for you.
Ignore it, bro. Ignore it.
I mean,
Acts like nothing ever happened before this race. Acts like it's round one here.
I have to say because you are really decent fast driver. You're doing usually a great job during the quali sessions, and then something is missing during races. So,
Uh,
is it
uh,
a
um,
crucial point for you to score more points from now?
it's just that in the race I sort of push a little bit too hard in EU3 because I sort of have the mentality of like, oh, I'm one of the fastest people in here, so I kind of need to live up to that even in the race as well. Then it just sort of also falls apart. So, as you can see at Monza in EU2, I just held my own race and got P10 with ring damage. So, to be honest, I think that's probably what I'm going to do in EU3 now. Just sort of try not expect a lot for myself and just see what happens. So,
I mean, I can understand you because when I wrote the message when I'm stepping back from racing, I was doing more or less the same. I was pulling a bit too much of pressure for myself, too big pressure, some IRL life problems, so that doesn't help at all. But still, really happy to see you on the podium finally. And Mati, Hitmax is all yours.
Oh, is he? Lovely. I mean, good. Obviously, good opening first stint for yourself and Dan. Nice little battle there. You took control early, then looked like to put away, but then he caught back up to you. Was that because of you pushing too hard? Were the tyres going, or were you just like that was just where you are?
the
Where you were
rears
at that
started,
time?
the rears started to die. There was like 11-12% difference between the fronts and the rears. I just thought, I'm not going to push as I don't want to accidentally spin it and put it into a wall whilst I'm leading. Then eventually I did outbrake myself, then put myself into a wall 2 times. Then on the lap what I did it before the second time, Matty Robbo, it's the left-hander. Wait, no, it's not right. I
Sorry,
keep getting you two mixed up. I keep getting you two mixed up.
sorry,
was I? Excellent.
sorry for interrupting you, but Martin was with me all the time, so it couldn't be him.
I
I
do
always
both
get,
things.
I always get both of you mixed up. But yeah, Dan, he did for the left-hander on the lap where I got actual wing damage. That affected me a lot. Dan put it into a wall later on in the lap, and I was like, oh my god, I've been blessed. So then I sort of fell apart then. On how Goran DNF'd, that is my fault. I went for a move, my rears locked up, he died from it, and yeah, I don't think he's all too happy, but back to your question is, I just generally slowed down to not put it into a wall, so.
Excellent. No, that's fine.
I mean, good news for you. That is, even if Goran will report you for that,
Report me. I'm still keeping the P2.
if you're not gain more than 65 seconds of penalties, you will keep your P2.
He's gonna get 4 in 66 seconds this week. Just moving down a place.
Wonderful.
And
well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, really happy to see you finally on the podium spot. And let's head back to our biggest hero for tonight. Actually, only one driver who managed to defend his starting position. That's a really impressive job watching tonight, let's say, action on the track. So, Dan, congratulations for the win.
Yep, thank you, mate. That was yeah. What do we say?
Uh,
I mean, where do you begin? I mean, I had a full dry setup on because I didn't look at the weather, obviously. And then we went on the grid, and it was on inters, and I'm like, oh, that's not very good, is it then? So that was a bit sketchy. I mean, obviously, I had the benefit of being in P1 off the start, obviously, so I could just about avoid the various artillery being lobbed into turn 1 and turn 2. But yeah, I mean, the standard of driving is just absolutely horrific from a vast majority of drivers in the tier, and that's been proven over a couple of weeks. And obviously, this is the worst we've had now. Yes, it was difficult weather conditions, but you just brake earlier. And if you run with racing line on the corners like I do, it tells you when to brake. So, and you go a little bit earlier than that, and there's a car in front of you. It's just, and then people crash under the safety car and all that sort of stuff. I mean, fortunately, I managed to get the 3 good safety car restarts. I just dumped the battery off the start and managed to get enough of a gap to where I was safe from the attacks. But yeah, and I mean, I did the whole race and made one mistake, and that was quite a costly one because I lost my whole front wing. But yeah, keep it on the iron, lads. That's the easy, that's the hard bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and we catch that mistake on the stream, but I have to say, you mentioned that you were on the full drive setup, and still you was able to run away pretty fast from them, because after one lap of the race restarts, you were basically more or less 3 seconds in front of the rest of the grid. That was pretty impressive, especially considering your full drive setup. So really,
Yeah, I
huge
mean, when you're
chapeau
out in
for you.
front, when you're out in front, it's slightly easier, obviously, but it's just being smooth with it. So brake early and ease on the power, like. But obviously, that's difficult to do when you're in the pack and it's a bit of a melee for positions. But yeah.
Okay, and now I'm leaving you to your brother because I
Oh,
need to
do
go
I
to the
have to?
toilet. Yes, you have to.
That's
Use that
oh,
family
just
connections.
well, all I'm going to say is I think he's kind of proven why that he was EU3 champ last year. The fact, although he made one mistake that we saw today, which was looks very silly, young Daniel. That was a
Yeah,
bit
I
of
just
a
took too much of the curb.
yeah. But the whole slow and steady and not being the fastest. Obviously, you got pole today, which was a bit of a surprise to see you go for qualifying rather than just
Yeah, but you
circle
know it's
round.
a track that I'm quite good at, though. It's
Yeah.
one of my better
So
ones. That's why I went for it.
yep. Slow and steady wins the
Yeah,
race.
just keep it on the island, lad.
Keep it on the island. You heard it from here first. Well done to all 3 of our podium. Well, all 3 of our survivors, because you're the only 3 people that got to score points because you did 90% of the race. So congratulations. Everybody else didn't make it to that stage
Yes, and
through one way or another.
those are our tonight's heroes: Mons, Yitmax, and Dan Robo. Only 3 drivers who managed to finish the race. So only a podium was scoring the points. Mati, I'm really
Yes.
happy that I had that opportunity to stick with you here once again.
Yeah, we soldiered through. We got there eventually. Hopefully, EU2 tomorrow will be less chaotic, but it's very close in.
Yeah.
It's very close in qualifying at the moment. That it may be even more chaotic. 4 tenths
Yeah, and
separated the top 10 last week.
to be honest, I'm really scared about maybe not that much on EU2, and I'm really scared about Thursday.
Yes, EU1. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All I'm going to say is thank you to everybody that was commenting in the stream tonight and managed to make their way through the chaos and carnage and destruction that you saw from EU3. These guys will be back next week. It doesn't get much better, guys. We're at Miami in a week's time, so that it's going to be more chaos and destruction, I think, as well. I would like to reciprocate and say, Luke, thank you for joining me. It was a pleasure. Hopefully, Hako will be back next week to see you all and commentating all again. And your next on-track action is AM3 in a couple of hours' time.
And
EU2 is
EU2
your
tomorrow.
tomorrow, and AM2 tomorrow, and then EU1 and AM1 on Thursday.
Yes, and thank you all Twitch viewers for joining us tonight. For the drivers, thank you for joining us on Comms booth tonight as well. And we will, I mean, not we, but I will see you tomorrow for the EU2 race. And have a great, great evening. Ciao!